welcome back to the Gran Turismo Online League. It's time for the 1RC Touring Series here at Circuit de Spa. It's the Spa rain race. The rain's been falling all weekend, and the GTO League drivers are ready to take on this wet circuit. What a historic circuit here at Spa, settled in the hills of the Ardennes Forest in Belgium. What a historic track. And what a better person to watch it with than Rashad Metz. Rashad Metz, how you doing today?
I'm doing great today, Miles. I'm really excited for this race. One of those races that these guys really are going to show their real talents in the race cars, be able to handle the slipping and the sliding of these cars on this wet race surface. So I'm really excited for it.
And this is one of those almost crown jewel events in the series. You know, if you can win here, that really shows your talent in the league. How do you think drivers are going to have to change their driving styles for today?
I really think these drivers are going to have to take a step back, not be so aggressive, because the braking zones, they're very important. You don't want to lock the tires up. You don't want to slide through the corners or slide off the apexes. So it's going to really change up these drivers' driving styles. They're going to have to be a lot more patient on the gas and on the throttle. So it's really going to show the winner of this race is going to really prove that he is the master of those elements, mastering those elements in order to put it together, put the race together, and come out victorious.
Of course, there are a lot of favorites here that you could pick here today, but I mean, Rashad Metz did win this race last year. Is there anyone that you're going to be keeping your eye on for today's race?
This race, I'm going to have to keep my eye on Donnie Wu here. Donnie Wu was one of those drivers, and then especially he switched this race to the Aston Martin, so I really hope that's going to really pay out for him. He was really fast during practice and qualifying, so I feel like if he puts it all together, he is going to be one hard guy to beat this race.
And a lot of these drivers are ready to show their talent today, so let's get down to the Metz painting grid walk. Rashad, you care to kick us off?
On pole position, we have the 06 Mustang of Miles Johnson. Puts the car on pole position today. Something that you wouldn't really expect. Miles Johnson is our oval racer. Not very good on road courses, but he's really been putting that effort, putting in that practice, and he really shows it with his qualifying effort today.
And rolling off P2 is Rashad Metz in a very nice silver Gran Turismo Online League car. Rashad Metz is a previous winner here. He won the inaugural Spa rain race last season in the Touring Series. So look for him to be running up front and doing it again. He set a very fast qualifying lap. He's been fast all week in practice, and that number 24 car is always hard to beat at these road courses.
Rolling off P3, we'll have Trevor Levine in that Lexus, number 95 Lexus, the Exxon Lexus. One of those guys that are really somebody you got to watch week in and week out on these road courses. Not really making a very strong presence on ovals, but when it comes to racing here on these road courses, he's a guy you always got to keep your eye on. Very balanced driver with aggression and passiveness. So I really feel like if Trevor puts it together today and he stays out of trouble, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, he is definitely going to be a driver that's in contention to win this race.
And rolling off right behind him and Donnie Wu. Donnie Wu has been very fast here during practice. He did make his car swap. You see these drivers get one car swap per season, so you can't change a car each weekend. But he's used this one car swap to switch over to the Aston Martin. So let's see how this car swap will do for him today. He's shown some speed in this car so far, so let's see how it'll pan out for the number 16 car.
Rolling off P5, we have the 22 Newport car of Zay Smitty, one of those drivers that are coming to make his one-off start. He's trying to debut here in the Touring Series, going to try to make a name for himself as well, coming to do another part-time race. So hopefully Zay Smitty can really show everybody that he has some pace and see if he can put this Newport machine in victory lane.
Rolling off right behind him is the rookie. We got Nick here, a Fenway Slugger in the number 88 car. What a very nice scheme he's running today. He's been making his second career start here in the league. He made a start last night in the weekly series where he finished second, which is a very excellent finishing position for a first ever start in the league. So let's see how he will do here on his first ever road course start in the rain race at Spa.
Rolling off P last, we have the number 74 of Miles Turner, one of those guys that are trying to race more and more this season. He's trying to make more of a presence in the race. He misses a lot of races, but he's trying to make more and more races. So hopefully he's one of those guys. He's not really good on road courses and not really good on ovals, so he's really trying to settle in, learn more and more each and every week. So hopefully we can see him make progression up the ranks and up the field today, up the grid order, and hopefully he can come home with maybe a podium, if not a mid-pack finish.
And that's it for your Metz painting grid walk. It's going to be a fun one today. Is there anything else you want to add on before we get this thing underway?
Well, we have noticed just now that during the qualifying, we've noticed that Miles Johnson has indeed been busted for cutting the track in multiple ways and getting an illegitimate lap. So according to that rule in our rule book, Miles Johnson's lap time will be invalidated, and he will start on pole this race, but next race he will be relegated to the back of the field to start from P last in the race. So that's going to be Miles Johnson's penalty for cutting the track today.
And he did get busted last season at Circuit de la Sarthe, so he will certainly have to be watching where he's pushing them track limits. So hopefully that penalty being dished out will be a very good warning to him to not do it again. Anyways, let's get ready to get this thing underway. The rain race at Spa, the 1RC Touring Series brought to you by 1RC Racing. Check them out at 1RC.com. Have an excellent lineup of 1/10 scale RC carpet racing cars. But without hesitation, let's get this thing underway. The cars are lined up, the rain is falling, and the lights are ready to go out. And the lights are out. We're green flag racing at the Spa rain race.
Bad start by Trevor Levine. A lot of wheel spinning in the back of the pack. Miles Johnson still up front. 3 wide right now into turn 1. Not really something you want to see. This too wide.
Johnson spins his tires a lot off the corner. That opens the door for Rashad Metz to take the lead.
Really good run down the straightaway heading into Eau Rouge. This is where a lot of drivers are going to make mistakes. Don't want to take too much curb. Don't want to overdrive the corner. And see if Rashad's going to take advantage and try to break away in that beautiful scheme he's driving now. But Donnie Wu is trying to go around the inside of Miles Johnson. Miles Johnson gets a little loose, almost clipping the grass.
Bobbling down that straightaway. These straightaways are not that wide here at this track. A lot of our other road courses are a lot wider now. Donnie Wu's going to complete that pass. Here comes Trevor Levine.
Donnie Wu's able to brake really late into these corners, which you can see. He's been showing that during practice and qualifying. His car has been able to brake a lot later into these corners, so I really feel like that's going to give him a huge advantage when it comes to the race in the long-term standings.
And one thing I'd like to talk about real quick is just look at the rooster tails these cars are kicking up. That visibility, it's very hard to see. It's harder than it was to see during the Gran Turismo Online League dirt race with all the dust being kicked up. But look at this rainwater being kicked up, and those windshield wipers, they only do so much. I mean, how do you think these drivers are going to handle this visibility change?
Well, it's all about knowing the track, in my opinion. I feel like you have to know. Before you go race this race, you have to go into practice qualifying, check out look at the right side of your windshield, be able to find markers where you set mental markers that you set to where you need to brake. So even with the huge spray in front of your face, the previous muscle memory and track knowledge that you gain will help you navigate this track still at a fast enough speed to make positions. As Trevor gets a huge slide there. Same as A. Smitty. Very tricky corner that is. You send it in maybe just a little too deep. As we go up to that lead of Rashad Metz early on, nice and spread out. But so far I feel like Donnie Wu's might have Rashad's number, as he looks like he's gaining a little bit each and every corner.
Donnie Wu was very fast, if not faster during practice than Rashad Metz. He just had to work on linking consistently fast laps together. That was his problem. He's got to work on chaining those fast laps together, which will help him track down the number 24 car.
I really feel like consistency is how you get it done here. I feel like you have to be able to hit those marks every single lap. You can't be sliding off the apex. You can't be sliding off the track. Can't be going wide. You can't be spinning your tires too much. So that's really how much work it takes to get to get this track down and how to be fast. You got to be able to know those braking markers, know how not to lock those brakes up, how to get on the power efficiently. Those are all factors that show raw speed and how these drivers can really and shows the real challenge that this track has. But as you see here, the rooster tails behind Rashad's car. You can only see the headlights of Donnie Wu's car behind him. But as you see, Donnie Wu can brake really late into that corner, gains a lot of time on Rashad.
We did see Donnie Wu led over half the race here last season, but he ended up spinning one of the chicanes after making a mistake. Rashad Metz was able to slip by, and Donnie Wu ended up DNFing out of that race. So it's all about not making mistakes. You may have a good lead now, but one mistake can take that all away from you.
Like I always say, you have to use those mulligans early if you're going to use them at all. So you got to make those mistakes early on in the race. Don't want to make them late in the race because that's when it's go time. So I feel like these first 1 to 5 laps are going to be when these drivers are going to make their most mistakes, when they're going to be sloppy. But if they make mistakes after that, it's going to cost them a lot of time because a lot of drivers are going to be settling into that groove, settling into those positions. So I really feel like you have to be flawless after lap 5.
Of course, a lot of these drivers, they're still getting acclimated to the track right now, under a race setting because we've only been practicing and qualifying so far. We haven't been in a full-on race quite yet, so this is the first time they've been able to experience racing with a lot of cars out on the track and having to work around dirty air and the rooster tails created by other drivers. But hopefully, they'll get better on as we go through the later stages of this race.
You just got to learn. It's all about learning and experience. That's going to really pay a huge dividend. Like, for example, Rashad, Donnie Wu, Trevor Levine, Miles Johnson were all here last season when it came to racing this race. So they have a nice bit of notes in their playbooks to be able to try to attack this track and a lot of information on how to race this track. So I really feel like these drivers are going to have a huge upper hand this race. But still, even with all the experience that they have, they're still slipping the rears in on corner exits. And when it comes to getting on the power, there's still a lot of problems there. So
Donnie Wu sure is cutting into that lead of Rashad Metz. We might see a battle here soon enough.
I don't know if Rashad Metz is trying to be more relaxed this race, trying to make mistakes early on, or if he's just being, or if he just doesn't have the pace that Donnie Wu has. So it's really going to show later on in the race as Donnie Wu gets closer and closer to that rear bumper. But right now, as you see here, Trevor Levine is in 3rd place. Rashad Metz is in 1st. Rashad currently is the points leader with 205 points. And Trevor Levine is 2nd place in the points only by 5 points. So I really feel like this...
Metz
big
gets
slide!
really loose. That's going to open the door for Donnie Wu.
Right
Let's
on
see
his
if
bumper.
old Donald can get it to the inside here. He doesn't look there.
I think he's being patient, not going to really go for the lunge right now. As he does, he tried to get there, but couldn't quite get there. But back to what I was saying, that points battle between Trevor Levine and Rashad Metz is going to get heated up as this race goes on because Trevor Levine wants to try to finish one position ahead of Rashad, if not close enough, because he don't want to lose any more ground in the points. But also another thing to look at is the points battle between 4th and 5th in the points. They're actually dead even, both 30 points back from the leader Rashad Metz, and Javen Tucker with 185 points, 20 points back. So and Javen Tucker sadly could not make this race today. So this is really gonna be a battle for 3rd in points today. If Donnie Wu can get a good result, he can bump himself up to 3rd in the points.
Whoa! I have never
Donnie-
seen anything like that in my life.
Donnie Wu went airborne.
We gotta take another look at that. There is no way we just saw what we just saw.
And still made the corner. Donnie Wu is learning some new strategies on how to gain time, as you can see here. Very impressive move by Donnie Wu, intentional or not. He decided to hit on the jets, get a little bit of air.
I mean, I think that right there is just a product of this package. I mean, the aerodynamic package we hear is creating a lot of that downforce, really allowed Donnie Wu to do that through that turn.
That is very true, very true. This track is very slick as well. So with Donnie Wu goes wide, this track is very slick. So we really got to be careful with this track is just as slippery as Trevor Levine's forehead. So we got to really keep our eye on how slick the racetrack is. These drivers are slipping and sliding.
Oh, fishtailing! Oh, Donnie Wu almost loses
in the wall.
What a save by him!
Incredible save. I see these podium drivers are really close. You think this is a huge gap between them, but one slight mistake, that gap can close really, really fast. So, Miles, let's segue into next week. We're racing at BB Raceway. How do you think these drivers are going to take that track?
Well, all the ovals on our circuit, there's a different race package that's meant to keep the field as close together. So those are mostly our wild card races. So pretty much any driver can win. So you'll see maybe a driver like Miles Johnson, one of our oval racers running up front. You'll see Fenway Slugger in the 88 car. He's really good at ovals, so look for him to be running up front his rookie season. Maybe even Miles Turner, or say a Jalen Bird might come in for another one-off start in the season. Just anyone can win there. You have to protect your points. You want to have a good points cushion going into those oval races, because you can either gain a ton of points or you can lose it all in one race.
So when it comes to the points, you said you're looking for a nice point cushion. So when you feel like when you look towards the front runners in the point standings, like Rashad Metz, you would think that he wants to try to build win as many races as possible, or finish ahead of Trevor Levine as much as possible, to try to build up cushions for those oval races, because you don't want because you can lose all your spots in one lap of those races. So I feel like, how important do you think that points cushion is going into these more wild card races?
We saw it a lot, and last season, come to the championship race at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, Donnie Wu was in second place of the points for most of the year, even in first for some of the year. But he lost it to Trevor Levine in the last race, was unable to make the race, and ended up getting last place points, but he still finished second or third in the points instead of second, when he could have been battling for a championship. So that cushion of points coming into the ovals, that could cost you a championship come the end of the season.
See, that's what we got to really keep our eye on right now, especially how those wild card races. So hopefully, as the season goes through, we're going to have that throwback race after. Actually, we have BB Raceway, and then we have us an expedition race, the GTO grassroots race, which has karts taking place at Tsukuba Racing Circuit. So that's going to be an exciting race for these drivers to get out there, get in karts, get back to those grassroots, how everybody started off in those racing karts. So that's going to be a nice race to look forward to. But another race that I'm excited for personally, Miles, is that 30 minutes of start. That is a throwback race. So these drivers are going to be bringing some throwback schemes, either from their earlier races in the league, or either races or race car drivers that they looked up to growing up as kids. So that's going to be another race I'm looking forward to. What races are you looking forward to this season?
Of course, that throwback race is going to be really cool. It's a very historic racetrack at Sarth, so why not throw it back to some historic paint schemes? That's going to be a fun one to watch. It's going to be a very fun environment to be at. But of course, I'm looking forward to the ovals as always. I favorite the ovals, but those always create some great close racing, and they always throw the unexpected at you. They always shake up the points and make things just that much more interesting. But also, two more races that I'm looking forward to are the two brand new road courses that have been added to the schedule this year, that of Brand Hatch Indy and Kyoto Driving Park at Miyabi. Those are going to be some fun ones to watch, because these drivers have never raced here or on those tracks in this league before.
Indeed, they haven't. So, those, especially a track like Miyabi, that's a real small circuit. There's going to be a lot of short track like vibes. So, I feel like they're going to be using their bumpers a lot, trying to move people out the way to gain position. So, that's another race that we have to really look forward to, especially the Nürburgring one-lap shootout. That's going to be a track where Johnny was on a bumper. Are we going to see an overtake? Donnie Wu was talking about in his car. It's really hard to pass in these conditions.
Metz is getting
due
loose.
To the lack of grip.
Looks to the inside. He slides over in front of him.
Completes the pass.
A new leader here at Spa.
Donnie Wu takes the lead. Is Rashad going to be able to battle back? Or is he just going to be patient and ride with Donnie Wu to try to separate from the charging Trevor Levine in P3 right now?
And we saw this last weekend as well. Trevor Levine didn't really have the speed to run up front consistently, but he was always there. He was always within striking distance, just in case you see these leaders. If they make a mistake, like you see Donnie Wu going way out wide, if they make a bigger mistake, then Trevor Levine is in the right position to pounce.
Trevor Levine is just sitting out there waiting and stalking these drivers right now. So, yes, Miles, he's definitely back there waiting. Let's just see if he has the pace to challenge these guys, or if his strategy is to sit back, stay with the guys, and see if he can make a pounce later in the race. So,
yeah, he's always a very hard racer. You'll see him a lot of times wiping the sweat off his
side
forehead.
by side, Rashad
Oh,
tries to make the overtake. Nice cut back to the
it's
inside.
almost side by side, but what I'm saying
Clears
about Trevor Levine's a hard racer. You'll see him after some hard races wiping the sweat off his forehead, you know, trying not to slip up. He's just a very tough guy to race around, so you just got to be careful about that.
You really do, as these drivers are
side by side
Johnny
again.
Wu's trying to get a run.
Here comes Trevor Levine as well.
It's a very tricky place to pass. Very tricky place. Not a lot of grip. Rashad tried to stay alongside Donnie Wu.
Outside. Will he be able to keep it going? Trevor
Still
Levine's right on
side
this
by side.
bumper. 3 cars under a blanket for the lead now.
Very, very impressive racing so far.
Hear the crowd in the background cheering. I just see their favorite drivers battling it out. The top 3.
Go in the comments and comment your favorite driver and who you want to see win the next race at B, or who your prediction is to win the race at BB next week. Oh, Trevor Levine looks like he wants to try to take second place from Donnie Wu. I think he's starting to feel that pressure. Uh-oh, Donnie makes a mistake. Trevor's going to try to come to the outside, slips the rears. Trevor going to try to make a move. Not quite yet. He's being patient. Just want to stick on the backside of Donnie Wu here. Donnie Wu's getting a little loose, feeling the pressure from Trevor Levine. Trying to get that mistake.
And all
Donnie Wu's still slipping.
This hard racing right here, Rashad Metz is loving to see all of this. He's
Big
been able to
slide.
pull away. He's been able to pull a great gap among these second and third place drivers.
He really has. I think that's what he, as you said, he loves to see that battling from behind. Is Trevor going to calm down, settle in, and try to let Donnie relax a little bit, knowing that his position is not in jeopardy quite yet, and so they can actually reel in Rashad and both try to make a nice move on it. They're going to try to work together. Let's see. Trevor Levine gets close enough, tries to go around the outside of Donnie Wu here, trying to be defensive. See who's going to get a better launch out of the corner. Trevor slips the rears, trying to get the gas pedal down. Did somebody say crank it up?
I think we need to go to a Gran Turismo Online League, crank it up. So let's listen to those engines roar here at the rain race. It's like Rashad Metz. He's slipping up a little bit there.
Really slipping and sliding, trying to gain back control of that Corvette. That beautiful race scheme. Hopefully he doesn't get any scratches on it this race. Made a lot of mistakes. You saw it during the crank up. He was slipping and sliding. Here comes Donnie Wu on the outside. They get a little contact.
Donnie Wu slides. Go out to the sand trap. Oh, let's take another look at what happened here.
Got it. He kind of. Let's go to that hood cam of Donnie Wu. Let's take a look. Donnie Wu saw his opportunity. Rashad made a mistake. Kind of got into his back bumper. Rashad sideways right now, trying to gather it back up after some contact, and went off into the sand trap.
Very unfortunate for Donnie Wu there.
Just one of those racing things.
Just some hard racing there. Overcorrected a little bit. But, I mean, it's really hard to save these cars on the drive pavement. It's even more harder to drive or save it here on the wet. That allows Trevor Levine to move up to second place.
Trevor Levine, as you said, was waiting for his moment to strike. So is this his time to try to strike and pass Rashad after he's making these mistakes early on in the pretty late in the race? It's his lap 7, for crying out loud. So I really feel like Trevor Levine might try to make a move on Rashad.
I mean, we've seen it a lot of times in the past year, especially last season, where Trevor Levine, he would either totally dominate a race and lead almost all the laps, or he would almost
overdrove it.
Ooh,
Trevor Levine's around.
He spins in the final chicane, and he gets in contact with the lap car of Miles Turner.
Beanbag. Let's watch and see what happens. He gets in there a little too hot. I see Rashad did the same thing, slides right on through the corner, kind of keeps it going.
Yep. I think he just got in the gas a little early there, a little too much.
And you see Big Miles goes up there and says, "What's up, slime?" And
of course, you figure with all that "What's up, slime" and forehead grease, it's really slick through that final chicane.
Really, really slick. Laid down a fresh coat of forehead grease before the race started down. So, but Donnie Wu, Rashad has got a nice, comfortable gap so far. After Donnie Wu's but after the contact with Donnie Wu, the racing incident, and the mistake with Trevor Levine so far. So,
Rashad matches out to a very good gap now. We're over halfway through the race here. Do you think the dynamic of this race is going to change any? Do you think we're going to see some more aggressive driving by the rest of the field to try to catch Metz, or do you think they're just going to try to, run their own race and see if Metz will make a mistake?
See, that's where it gets interesting, because you can't guarantee that Rashad's going to make a mistake this race, and you can't guarantee he's going to be flawless. You can't guarantee since you can't guarantee that, you want to be able to push the car hard, but at the same time, you want to run your own race and hope for that mistake. But since you can't guarantee that mistake's going to happen, you can't bank on it. So if I was Donnie Wu right now, I'd be trying to get every single bit out of the race car right now, trying to reel in Rashad every little bit of time I can, each and every lap, and hopefully be there to race him at the end of the race. So it's going to be really hard for him to put that together, because it's not easy to put a fast lap down on this. So hopefully Rashad tries to calm down and relax a little bit and doesn't push the car too hard, because that's where the mistakes start happening, and that's when he loses a lot of time to the second place and third place cars. So let's go through the grid and see how everybody's doing right now. You see Donnie Wu's in pursuit of Rashad.
So Rashad's up front right now. He's seen a little loose there. That 24 car's been fast all day long. He's always one to watch. He won this race last year, and he's about to do it again if he keeps this up. Running second is the number 16 car of Donnie Wu. Donnie Wu's been fast throughout practice. He did have a slip up a little bit earlier when they had a racing incident. It ended up at the sand trap. He's trying to make some time back and run his way back up to the number 24 car.
So let's go down to Miles Johnson and see how he's doing in fourth position. I think he's been having a major handling issues during this race. He falls back 3 positions since the drop of the green flag. And you see that back end's really stepping out for him. Doesn't really have the grip that he wants. Ooh. Still a slip in the back end.
Of course, that Mustang is a very heavy, probably one of the heaviest cars we have here on the racetrack as of right now. A very heavy car. It may help you out a little on the oval, but it's definitely not helping him here at the rain race. You figure you got a lot of horsepower to the rear end of these American muscle cars, and it's just hard to handle that heavy car.
Yeah, those Mustangs are really something. Miles Johnson, one of those guys that really want to drive that Mustang. He loves the Mustang, so he's one of those guys. I think he's the best person in the Mustang, personally. Anybody that drives a Mustang cannot compete with Miles Johnson on any form of racetrack. So I guess this just in the race for the Mustangs handling. So let's check out 5th place of Zay Smitty and see how he's doing back there in one of his debut races.
He's had a lot of trouble with that handling. We've seen him spin a lot. He's about 30 seconds off of Miles Johnson in 4th place, about a minute back from the leaders. So he's pretty much out of contention here, trying to bring it home for a top 5 in his first ever start. But a lot of handling issues in that Mercedes-Benz. That is another very heavy car, so it's very hard to keep that thing from sliding off of mid-turn. So hopefully he'll be able to bring it home in the fifth
Really
place
hard
finish.
on the brakes, locks up the tires. Let's go to Fenway Slugger of Nicholas in that number 88 Dodge Viper. He's been putting in a lot of practice laps. He's been putting a lot of time on track, so I really feel like he's one of those guys to really watch this race. But due to some early mulligans, some really, really bad mulligans happening more than once, he's not where he would like to be on track, but he has the pace to compete up front, towards the front of the pack, at least in the top 5, maybe even to fight for the podium. So it's just a bummer that he made those mistakes early on in the race. So we hope next week he'll be able to make something happen.
If you look at the right side of his screen, there's lap times. You can just see he's had a couple fast lap times here and there, but look how inconsistent they are. Like 5 seconds in between each other laps, so he's got to work on that consistency a little more. He is a very good and talented oval racer, but a little bit more consistency, and he will definitely be able to compete for podiums on these road courses.
100%. Let's see what Hillsborough is doing. Miles Turner being real patient, as you see here, not using too much gas, not using too much brake, still learning how to drive this racetrack. Ooh, is he going to go wide? Goes a little wide. Can he save it? Keep the car going straight.
Fishtail there. Well, it looks like Donnie Wu's starting to
doing
close
great
down
this race.
Donnie Wu's starting to close up the gap again on Rashad Metz. Will he have enough time to get there? I've heard some rumors circulating about Rashad Metz and Miles Johnson, maybe even a race team, or maybe even separate race teams, or race teams for the league being brought into this. Have you heard anything about that?
I have indeed heard a lot about it. So basically, we've been hearing a lot of talks within the league about a lot of drivers wanting to break off into teams within the league. So right now, there's a lot of negotiations that's said to be going on behind closed doors. So we don't know anything for sure as of right now. But you see Rashad overtakes the lap car of Nicholas. But if Miles Johnson and Rashad do form a racing team, quote unquote, since it's rumored, they would be they would be a huge force to be reckoned with on the ovals, and they'll be in contention for wins and podiums consistently each and every week on the road courses. But who knows, Rashad? But they also said that Rashad and Miles might start a separate team. So if they do, who are they going to pick up?
I know.
It's a lot of talented drivers.
Rashad Metz in that number 24 car, currently racing for his own team of Metz Painting Motorsports. Really fast race team, very fast car. I know he's talking about, Fenway Slugger, that number 88 car. He's a very, very fast rookie in this team. He talked about if he does stay with Metz Painting Motorsports and keeps it as, a single team and stays at the same team, that he may try to bring on Fenway Slugger as a second race car to the team. So keep an eye on that. Then also, we talked about Miles Johnson in the 06 car racing for Miles Johnson Motorsports. May try to bring back the number 60 car that Peganex raced in the first season. So just a lot of stuff going on, team contract negotiations, another fun dynamic to come into the league.
That would be really fun. Maybe if there's a lot of teams that break away this season, we might be able to have a constructors championship go alongside the drivers championship, but we don't know so far. So right now, you basically just want to sit here and speculate. That's all we can do. There's also been a lot of rumors about new racing series being started in places of old ones. For example, there have been talks that the weekly series might turn into something different. I heard there was a chance that it might turn into a Miata series, and it might also turn into a Super Formula series. So it's all in talks right now. There's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of speculation, but just drop in the comments what you would like to see. Would you rather see the weekly series stay what it is? Do you think it's going to turn into the Miata series, or do you think it's going to turn into the Super Formula series? Just drop it in the comments. Tell us what you want to see. So,
of course, a lot of this could be affected because the league does plan to transition from Gran Turismo Sport to Gran Turismo 7 sooner or later. So depending on when that transition happens, that may depend on what series we see, or if we see the weekly series stay in its place, or maybe even a third series emerge to where we have a Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night race, or a Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night race.
Ooh, that would be interesting. 3 series is going alongside each other. That's a lot of racing. That means a lot more content for you guys to consume back at home, but we just have to work everything out. So that would be one hell of a way to start another season with 3 series going along side by side. As we're approaching the halfway point in the series, I'm pretty sure this is race 5, if I'm correct.
This is race 4 out of 5. Of course, next week we have an oval to start off the season, an oval at the midway, and an oval to end. So we got those wild card races kind of spread out throughout there to kind of shake up the points a little bit. But I mean, it seems like this season's going by really fast. Already have race 4 out of 10.
Oh yeah, this season's going by really quick. The points standings are still getting shuffled back and forth within each and every week. As you see, it's a lot of give and take here. You've been seeing some consistent drivers, primarily Rashad, staying in contention for wins each and every week. But typically, the other guys in the field, you see them either really contending or they're farther back in the field. So right now, it's really interesting to watch if drivers can make a run for the points lead with Rashad. If Rashad going to make a lot of mistakes entering the second half of the GTO Touring Series, so you got to keep your eye on it. He's currently right now the championship leader, the point leader in both series so far. So who's going to dethrone Rashad Metz as of right now as the points leader? Right now, Trevor Levine is the guy to do it. So let's see if Trevor Levine can put his head, hunker down, gain some positions, and really put Rashad in his place and say, hey, you're not the only fast guy here, bucko. And really really show Rashad that he's not the only guy here that can race. And really take it to Rashad, because that's what we want to see.
One thing I love about Rashad Metz in that 24 car is he just always is so happy to, just so grateful, so thankful. He's a very religious man. He's so thankful to be here in this league, because he's told over time and time again that this may be the closest thing that he will ever get to racing in real life. He's always dreamed of driving a race car in real life, and he enjoys coming here week after week and racing with his friends, and he loves the competition, loves the points battle, and this is almost a dream of his. It'd be even better if it was in real life.
Yeah, that's a big slide on the exit of the corner by Rashad Metz. Really trying to keep that Corvette underneath him as he's feeling the pressure from Donnie Wu. He's seeing that Donnie Wu has been gaining a lot of time as the race go by, and as you see here, the race is really winding down as we're on lap 12. This lap, the final lap. Can Donnie Wu catch him in time? Rashad Metz is really trying to keep Donnie Wu at bay. Is he going to try to put the pedal to the metal, or is he going to try to still be patient, run his race, and only defend if Donnie Wu gets there in time? So
I don't think Donnie Wu's going to have enough to really get there unless he really sends it into one of these corners, or Rashad Metz makes a big mistake as we come down into the final couple turns.
Donnie Wu really trying to run down Rashad Metz. Rashad Metz is one of those drivers that has been consistent week in and week out as he's rounding the final corners of this race. Is Donnie Wu going to have anything for him so far? It doesn't really look like it. Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake here.
I think Rashad coming into the final turn, the former Touring Series champion is going to do it again. Comes out of the final turn. Rashad Metz wins back-to-back rain races at Spa. What a race today.
Win number 3 on the season. Second points win of the season. But this is a great showing by Rashad Metz so far this season. Donnie Wu comes in second. Trevor Levine comes in third. Miles Johnson is going to round off the fourth, and then the top 5 gets rounded off with Zay Smitty in 5th. Great showing for him in his debut race. Fenway finishes in 6th position. Miles Turner, aka Beanbag, finishes in 7th. So this is very difficult. You know, it's hard to race on a track this slippery, and these drivers really put in a lot of practice, a lot of time, a lot of effort to really set the field up, to really set in some good laps and to be consistent and be fast here. So this was a great race, great experience, amazing race in my opinion.
Just amazing race driver, Rashad Metz, as always, very talented race car driver. And don't miss it next week. We're going to be at Broadbean Raceway, BB Raceway. It's going to be a wild card race. Thank you, as always, for watching us here on the Gran Turismo Online League. Please hit a subscribe button for more content. Check out our new playlist. We have grouped all of our previous seasons of racing together for your enjoyment, so you will not miss a thing. Thank you, Rashad, for watching us with me again, and we hope to see you all next week. Y'all have a great one.
Don't slip on grease.